ये तो नहीं चल रहा है ना काम। हाँ सही है।
पहले से थोड़ा है। स्ट्रॉन्ग सीधी कर लो ना, स्ट्रॉन्ग सीधी कर लो ना इसकी जो स्टैंड की।
यूनाइटेड कश्मीर पीपल्स नेशनल पार्टी निर्वाचित किस्ती कॉन्फ्रेंस से वर्जनदार का हनु बिंदार करना है यूनाइटेड कश्मीर पीपल्स नेशनल पार्टी एक तमाश वजह सरदार शौकत अली कश्मीरी साहब रिश्ता कमी टेक्निकल चीज़ में चला गया अच्छा इधर में लाइव शुरू में पूरा संगठन 10 बंदी की जो शेयर करते हैं ग्रुप पानी का वो कुछ सोशल मीडिया कंटेंट है द्वारा जब शेयर करते हैं पूरा
Let's start. Dear friends, media persons, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we are grateful to all of you for your participation in today's press conference. We warmly welcome you here. United Kashmir People's National Party is a secular, progressive and democratic political organization of the region, striving peacefully for the cause of civil society, political, socio-economic and human rights of the people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. Since its inception, UKPNP has advocated for the unification and independence of former princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. UKPNP is opposing to use religion as weapon and terrorism as foreign policy tool, and our region as launching pad and training camp to press the secular, democratic and progressive voices of entire region. So-called Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan are part of the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, has been illegally held by Pakistan since 1947. For the last 74 years, the government has not only neglected this area's development, it has systematically indulged in political repressing the people. Though so-called Azad Kashmir is supposed to be a self-governing state, it really has remained a colony of Islamabad, with Pakistan's central government taking all decisions. I would like to draw your attention towards grim human rights situation in Pakistan and its held so-called Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. The people, state institution and other functionaries in these areas have been controlled by Islamabad. The powerful land officials are enjoying all powers with impunity. The health, education, police, forestry, water resources, electricity, management, civil order, agriculture and employment is at the hands of Pakistan. There is no merit in any state institution. All major development schemes needs appeasement for the general officer commanding Marine and top military officers. Dear journalists, it is a well-known fact that the officers of Prime Minister, President, Legislative Assembly, High Court and Supreme Court have no power over constitutional political, social, economical, cultural development. All these institutions functioned under the hegemony of Islamabad. Pakistan has deputed land officers to Muzaffarabad who are holding absolute power. The local establishment and bureaucracy are always remaining at their mercy. Apart from many others, the Chief Secretary, Finance, Inspector General of Police and Director General of Health are always deputed from Islamabad to control the administration of the region. Kashmiri cannot be promoted to these key portfolios. With the Article 257 of Constitution of Pakistan, that is described as 257 for short, provision related to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, when the people of the state of Jammu and Kashmir decide to accede to Pakistan, the relationship between Pakistan and that state shall be determined in accordance with the wishes of people of that state. According to the UN resolution, Pakistan is obliged to ensure life, liberty, dignity of the people of Pakistani occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. The local population of so-called Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan do not enjoy any basic political rights. As brought out by Human Rights Watch, the government repressed democratic freedom, muzzles the press and practices routine torture, tight control on freedom of expressions have been a hallmark of government policy in the area. Pakistan has prevented the creation of independent media in the territory through bureaucratic restrictions and coercions. Under the interim constitution of so-called Azad Kashmir, which Pakistan enforced in 1974, aspiring candidates are pre-screened to ensure that only those who support Kashmir's annexation with Pakistan can contest elections. Anyone who wants to take part in public life in Pakistan administered Kashmir has to sign a pledge of loyalty to Pakistan, while anyone who publicly support or peacefully work for an independent Kashmir faces persecution. The electoral law undermines the basic political rights of Kashmiris by barring them from seeking office if they oppose Kashmir accession to Pakistan. Those who favor independence invite the end of establishment and risk being beaten and jailed. Numerous political leaders of Kashmir have either forced to live in exile, been eliminated, or languishing in jail. In May 2013, the Arab Shahid, chairman of All Parties National Alliance, an alliance which was comprising 13 political nationalist parties. One of the prominent Kashmiri nationalist politicians was assassinated at Rawalpindi. We have raised this issue several times at different forums, including United Nations Human Rights Council, to put pressure on Pakistan to institute a judicial inquiry into target killing of Sardar Arif Shahid, but no action has been taken yet. In so-called Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, nationalist leaders and political workers and human rights defenders are facing sedition charges. Section 124A is related to sedition, which states that whoever brings into hatred or contempt the federal and provincial government shall be punished with imprisonment up to life, to which fine may be added. The government is using the Anti-Terrorism Act against secular, progressive, nationalist political workers, civil society activists, and human rights defenders who are struggling for their basic and fundamental human rights. Anti-terrorist courts in Gilgit-Baltistan awarded 14 to 19 years in prison to human rights defenders and peaceful political activists like Babajan, Iftikhar Hussain, and their colleagues. Due to campaign launched by UK PNP and other sister political and human rights organizations. After more than 8 years, Pakistan granted bail to these activists, but fabricated cases against them as still there, which once again can be used against them. A British Kashmiri activist and a journalist, Tanveer Ahmad, was arrested in August 2020, tortured by agencies and security forces. After he removed Pakistan's flags from a popular public place in Mirpur, Azad Kashmir. We have raised this issue at United Nations Human Rights Council session and asked Pakistan for his unconditional release, but he is still in jail. We are deeply concerned about his deteriorating health condition. His life is under threat. We urge upon Human Rights Council, international community, and especially United Kingdom to intervene to save life of a peaceful activist. And other human rights defender, Adris Khattak, who has worked extensively to tackle enforced disappearances, was forcibly disappeared by Pakistan Military Intelligence Agency on 13th November 2019 under the Official Secret Act. His whereabouts were not known until 17th June 2020, when the Joint Investigation Tribunal in Islamabad, tasked with inquiry into case of enforced disappearances, informed the human rights defender's family that he was being held by the Pakistani Military Intelligence and was being tried under the Official Secret Act 2003. It is distressing to see that his case will be heard in a notorious Act 1923. Non-transparent and medical. The law Official Secret Act is aimed at protecting information held by government employees and should not be used to justify the enforced disappearances and incommunicado detentions of a human rights defender. There is serious concern that the Official Secret Act is being used to deny the human rights defender his right to a fair trial, including access to legal representation of his own choice, and to hold hearing in camera. We urge for his immediate release. With the passage of time, the people of rural areas have been divided and kept unprivileged as human beings. Today, the situation in these areas is grim and needs special focus by the world community and particularly by Pakistan to fulfill its obligations asked by the world community through UNCIP resolutions and various other resolutions to social, economical and political empowerment. In our areas, peaceful political activists and members of civil society have become targets of state infrastructure with impunity. Terrorist network and infrastructures are very much intact in these areas. The leaders of banned terrorist organizations are roaming freely despite FATF recommendations. High-profile Pakistani Taliban leader Ahsanullah Assam, who acted as the group's spokesman and claimed responsibility for some of its deadliest attack, has been escaped from military custody. Pakistan Interior Minister confirmed, designated as a terrorist at UN sanctions list, leader of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Maulana Masood Azhar, who was in the custody of Pakistan Army, also escaped along with his family. It shows that Islamabad still supports them. She is not serious to take action against extremists and terrorist organizations and groups. Dear friends, the earth's wild state of Jammu Kashmir is an historical state that combines multicultural, multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multinational, and multi-regions, which is the center of the wishes of its subject as political entity. We are determined to oppose any ploy to divide Jammu and Kashmir. Our commitment are to oppose all forms of terrorism, extremism, fundamentalism in our region, and particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, that devastates social fabric of the society and create polarization among different sections. We also demand that Pakistan must end its colonial rule on so-called Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. The democratic, constitutional, and human rights of both peripheries must be restored, and intimidations of political activists must be stopped. The conference also heralds both India and Pakistan from abstaining dividing Jammu and Kashmir on communal lands. We urge upon both states as well as international community to use its good offices for the restoration of statehood of the forcibly divided Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan must end a continuously policy of interventions in Jammu and Kashmir and must stop its policy of using Pakistani occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan as a launching pad for its geostrategic interest. As I mentioned that the state of Jammu and Kashmir is disputed territory in international arena, Pakistan is self-proclaimed advocate and pretends as champion of the rights to self-determination of people of Jammu and Kashmir. But her actions are contrary to its flag. Recently, Islamabad unveiled its new political map showing the Jammu Kashmir, so-called Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan as its territories. It shows that she has no love for Kashmiris but wants to take full control of our areas which do not belong to it. We are ruled through the Draconian Interim Act of AJK 1974, which bans political parties that do not endorse state of Jammu and Kashmir accession to Pakistan, applying for a government job or to take part in election. One must declare loyalty to the cause of accession. Similar rule prevail in Gilgit-Baltistan. Those who oppose discriminatory rule are also subject to surveillance, harassment, imprisonment, and even kill. Pakistan is violating several articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and impose more restrictions on nationalist political parties and groups. The Azad Jammu and Kashmir Election Act 2020 make it mandatory for all the political parties to declare loyalty to Pakistan. Article 1 to 6 of the Act provides no political party shall be formed with the object of propagating any opinion or acting in any manner prejudicial to the ideology of state accessions to Pakistan, or the sovereignty and integrity of Pakistan, or security of Azad Jammu and Kashmir or Pakistan, or morality, or the maintenance of a public disorder. Exploitation of natural resources in Gilgit-Baltistan and so-called Azad Kashmir has deprived the natives of the region from their own natural wealth. An organized mafia is active in deforestation of the area. The timber has also become one of the main resources of revenue for few people. The area under forest is decreasing day by day, and this is causing environment degradation. In 1960s, Pakistan constructed Mangla Dam in Mirpur, Kashmir. Pakistan had agreed to pay royalty to the Azad Kashmir government. for the use of the water and electricity generated by the dam. Now Kashmiris are denied of royalty because Islamabad says Kashmir is not a province of Pakistan and royalty is only paid to province. Mangla Dam produced 1300 megawatts and our daily need is only 330 megawatts. But the region has been facing electricity shortage or load shedding for over 18 to 20 hours a day. Islamabad is constructing mega dams, proposed China-Pakistan Economic Corridor projects, which runs across our region. Before it entered Pakistan, mega project in a disputed territory of Kashmir, a clear violation of international law and UNCIP resolutions on Kashmir. What exactly is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor? Despite the vast number of articles, conferences, government statements, and increasingly projects on the ground, there are still major gaps in the perception and understanding about the initiatives. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor projects runs through disputed areas of Gilgit-Baltistan before it entered into Pakistan. CPEC will not affect on disputed nature of Gilgit-Baltistan, but it will cause environmental damage to air quality, water resources, soil erosion, or contamination. There is a widespread resignation and anxiety among the people of the former Prince state of Jammu and Kashmir, particularly in Gilgit-Baltistan, which is northern part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Since the People's Republic of China and Islamic Republic of Pakistan have signed billions-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, so many rumors have been spreading through different media resources that the government of Pakistan is seriously thinking to merge Gilgit-Baltistan into its territory as fifth province. Some quarters have already been claiming that present powerless structure in the region clearly depict that the region proclaimed as province of Pakistan. Typically, this is attributed to a lack of transparency. Although many details have been released, there remain a number of unknown elements, not least about the aspect of financing. Journalists digging around individuals' projects do not always get much traction with the Chinese firms involved, and there is still a level of political sensitivity around the entire scheme that make it difficult to conduct a full, vast, and all assessment of its economic merit. However, there are confusing elements about the entire framing of the initiative that will not be dispelled simply by opening the books. This is why all oppressed nations of Pakistan and people of Gilgit-Baltistan and people of Pakistan and Jammu and Kashmir have their serious reservations and concern with regard to CPEC and other mega projects. Economically, Pakistan has ensured that this region is one of the most underdeveloped area of the country, with all resources from this area being taken away from the developments of other areas of Pakistan. Dear friends, except private hospitals, the health department in Pakistani administrative Kashmir is almost totally controlled by Pakistan Army through its Army Medical Corps. Under the title of Combined Military Hospitals, CMH, billions-dollar of donations are spent for the welfare of armed forces of Pakistan instead of well-being of the people of the region. There are only 400 medical officers available for the entire population of 4 million, and only one bed is available for every 6,000 people in the region. United Kashmir People's National Party demands that the government of Pakistan must take immediate action against security forces, those groups and agencies who kidnap citizens of Pakistan and Jammu and Kashmir, and make arrangement for the immediate release of all those who have involuntarily disappeared. Respected journalist, UKPNP recommends that Jammu Kashmir dispute should be resolved through a process of dialogue and by adopting all peaceful means in accordance with the aspirations of the people of Jammu and Kashmir state. UKPNP through you appeal to United Nations and other international organizations to organize a fact-finding delegations to visit Pakistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan and bring on record the extreme repressions of the people by the Pakistan. Dear friends, I would like to draw your attention one more serious problems. You people maybe know that Mama Qadi is a renowned human rights defender. He one time he was participated in United Nations Human Rights Council sessions, and he is working on the missing person, which is from Pakistan, Balochistan, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and all the political parties and civil society regarded him as a noble human being and human rights defenders. But unfortunately, the government of Pakistan, their repressive laws actually put him in exit control list. So he received many international invitations from international organizations and forums like United Nations Human Rights Council, but he is unable to participate because Pakistan actually put his name in exit control list. I specially request Pakistan and also United Nations and all those organizations who is working on human rights, they should put pressure on Pakistan to repeal his name and give him a freedom of movement, because it is ensured in the Human Rights Charter, and also the Pakistani Constitution 1973 also ensured a person who has the freedom of movement. But unfortunately, the present regimes actually is very repressive, and they put many names in the exit control list just to take revenge of the human rights defenders. So we ask the government of Pakistan to repeal his name and give him a chance for the participation in international forums, and also give him a chance to free movement, so that he can participate in different conferences. And through this conference, I solidarity with and also salute his courageous struggle. Mama Qadi is a name of human rights, is a name of defending the human rights. He is a brave person, he is a courageous person, and United Kashmir People's National Party actually inspired his courageous struggle, and we salute him. The other thing, other issue is a very grim situation. Like many people, they are disappeared by the state institutions, and still they have no fair trial. So through this conference, I also appeal to the Supreme Court of Pakistan take cognizance and also provide them some kind of remedy, and at least they have to fair trial. It is the Constitution who guaranteed their fair trials. But unfortunately, the government of Pakistan, the Pakistani establishment and the agencies, they are not ready to actually transparent in their state affairs. That's why they kidnap the people and disappear them. And their loved ones protesting crimes, and also in Islamabad they are protesting, I think since 1 week, 2 weeks, but and many cabinet ministers and the peoples who visited them, promised with them, but they are unable because the establishment, Pakistani establishment, especially the military establishment, is so powerful, so they don't ready to listen any kind of advice from the civilian bureaucracy or civilian leadership. So it is a very grim situation, and world community should take cognizance against the Pakistani brutal regime and also make it possible for their safe release all the missing persons. I thank you very much for your participation, and if you have any questions, I am here to listen. Thank you.
Sir, as you have raised a very important question regarding the CPEC, which passes through your region of Jammu and Kashmir. I think in international law, there is a rule that before starting up such a big project, it's obligation of a state to do an environmental survey. Because if the environment of the region is destroyed, it means everything is destroyed. So this time Pakistan and China, both they didn't do any environmental survey in any region, even in Gwadar and in your region. So in this regard, what you can say, how international bodies can put pressure on Pakistan, because except UNO, there is also another agency that's called EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. So in this regard, you want to approach the EPA or not?
We are trying our best to approach all those forums who are working to protect the environment. Unfortunately, the CPEC is a commercial project, and huge traffic use that area for the commercial purposes. It affects the environment. But unfortunately, before this project starts or signed, there is no single dollar allocated to protect the environment. And still, the human rights defenders and the political parties and the journalists and the intellectuals, they also raise these questions in Pakistani media. They holding press conferences. But China and Pakistan, they do not listen to them. They did not ready to spend any money for the protection of the environment. And it is a serious concern of the regions, because the glaciers are melting due to heavy traffic, and it affects the environment. That's why the region is suffering. The decisions has been, weather has been changed. In December or winter season, there are many regions there is no rain, but in the summer, lot of rains, and the people unable to cultivate their lands. So due to the environmental degradations, the environment is totally changed, and it is all due to the regional government, especially the China and Pakistan. They did not spend a single penny to protect the environment. And it is, I think, we should sensitize all the agencies who are working on environment. And we definitely approached them, and we also emphasized them to take action against this.
Thank you.
सर मैं उर्दू में सवाल करूंगा, आप बेशक उसको एक्सप्लेन इंग्लिश में करते हैं कि मेरी इंग्लिश में बड़ी अच्छी ना हो।
ना कोई नहीं, आप
कोई बात नहीं। तो मेरा सवाल ये है कि जिसको हम आज़ाद कश्मीर कहते हैं, उसी का बाशिंदा हूँ, और जैसा कि आपने अपने पहले फरमाया कि मंगला डैम बना, उसकी रॉयल्टी की बात थी, उसकी 1800 मेगावाट बिजली बनती है, 380 हमें चाहिए होती है, वो भी नहीं मिलती, 16-18 घंटे वो लोड शेडिंग भी होती है। अब उसके अलावा हमने और प्रोजेक्ट भी शुरू हुए हैं, जिससे नीलम प्रोजेक्ट है, उसके साथ तो जो आज़ाद कश्मीर का जो बलाई वो हमारा हिस्सा है जो ऊपर वाला, उसमें तो जो कुछ मसाइल ऐसे बनेंगे जो आगे आएंगे आवाम के लिए। लेकिन क्या जो आज़ाद कश्मीर की हुकूमत है یہ اپنا حق کے رائلٹی کس وجہ سے نہیں مانگتی؟ جب وہ ان کی طرف سے یا عوام کی طرف سے ایک الیکٹڈ حکومت کہلائی جاتی ہے، اس کے جو نمائندے ہیں، اس کا جو بجٹ آتا ہے وہ ہم سب کو پتہ ہے کہاں سے آتا ہے، کیسے آتا ہے، لیکن جو رائلٹی ہے اصل وہ تو ہزاروں ارب بنتی ہے، یہ اس کے لیے کیوں نہیں کوشش کرتے؟
Thank you. He is Halim Jaral. He belongs to one media. It's called Jammu Kashmir. The Voice of Jammu Kashmir. He actually asked me in his native language or in Urdu that why the government of Azad Kashmir is not taking any kind of interest, whereas the government of Pakistan converted two rivers and diversions of their natural flow, and it affects, due to the tunnels, it affects the people who live agrarian parts, because especially the so-called Azad Kashmir is a mountainous area. The people are agrarian areas, mean the people who lived on the mountainous areas, their water, due to the tunnels, the water resources has been disappeared, and now the people have no drinking water. And due to search of the water, they are migrating from their own villages. And it also affects on the environment. As I said in my written statement, that the area need only 300 or 340 megawatt, whereas we produce 1300 megawatt. And the other projects, which is called Neelam Jhelum hydro project, first they diverted the natural flow of the rivers. It also affects, and they did tunnels. That tunnel also affect our water resources, and whole Muzaffarabad city, which is so-called capital of the Azad Kashmir, is badly affected. There is lot of pollution, and people are, and especially the civil society, last 2 years, they are continuously protesting against this. And government of Azad Kashmir is unable to say something, because that government is a design by the Pakistan and installed to serve the Pakistani interest. That government is not able to protect the life, liberty and resources of the area. That's why you cannot say, you cannot hear anything from the cabinet ministers or prime minister or president. They are propagating the situation of other part of state of Jammu Kashmir, which is under Indian hand. They did not say where they are standing, what is the human rights situation, what is the resources, and even government of Pakistan did not bother to the project cost and ultimately who is the owner of this project. Whereas our soil is used, our water resources are used, but we are completely ignored in any kind of royalty in this Neelam and Jhelum hydro projects. So Azad Kashmir is a colony simply, and all those officials who are installed in Azad Kashmir, they are playing in the hands of GOC Murray, and they are serving Pakistan's sovereign interest. They are not serving the people of Azad Jammu and Kashmir's interest. And that's why the Azad Kashmir, any official is not there to visit Gilgit-Baltistan. So we have no any hope from them. We know them, their fears, their constitutional power, because all the powers, constitutionally, all the powers is in the hand of four powerful land officers. The Prime Minister and President have no constitutionally any rights to serve the people. And that constitution, that act is imposed by the government of Pakistan, and the so-called legislative assembly has no right to amend or to delete or to add anything which is benefits for the Kashmiri people. So it is simply kanuni.
बट सर जैसा कि हमने वो मिसिंग पर्सन के बारे में बात हुई, जैसा कि बलूचिस्तान से मिसिंग पर्सन हैं, गिलगित बल्तिस्तान से हैं, उससे पहले DG ISPR साहब ने बिफोर 1 वीक कहा जी को 22,000 लोग थे, उसके बाद वो ऐसे ऐसे किए, उसके बाद 4,000 रह गए, अभी 2,200 हैं या 2,300 हैं। लेकिन आज़ाद कश्मीर के अंदर भी बेशुमार लोग हैं जो मिसिंग हैं, लेकिन उनकी कोई लिस्ट मुकाया नहीं है हमारे पास। कोई तंजीम, किसी तंजीम ने भी जो ऐसा काम नहीं किया कि उनकी लिस्ट बाकायदा बनाई जाए, या गवर्नमेंट ऑफ आज़ाद कश्मीर ने भी कहीं भी किसी जगह ऐसा नहीं है कि उनके पास कोई बाकायदा एक रिकॉर्ड हो जिसकी वजह से हम आलमी इदारों के सामने या कहीं भी हम ये बताएं कि हमारे इतने लोग मिसिंग हैं, कहाँ हैं, कैसे हैं, उनके अहल खाना पे क्या बीत रही है।
No, I think in this regard you are not right, because Nasir Aziz Khan Saab in his command, he compiled a report for the missing persons from Pakistani occupied Kashmir, and when he submitted in United Nations Human Rights Council and Pakistan denied that, so then actually it was the mechanism of UN, they sent different kind of groups to check whether we are propagating or we are on the right side. So BBC compiled reports according to that list, and they met with them, met with their families, and also published a report that yes, in POK there are many people who are missing, even some of the police personals, they are missing, and their one is not allowed to launch a protest. In one case, in the Kotli districts, when the people come out and organize a protest, the DC and the SP ask them to leave the city, otherwise we will also arrest you and disappear you. This is the story. And in Neelam, in Kohota, there are many teachers, the teachers, political activists, and especially in other areas of Pakistan, actually they arrested and missing those persons who are actively take part in the politics and are renowned human rights defenders. But in our areas, actually they kidnap those peoples who belongs to a relatively weaker section of the society. They are not political people. They did not take part in the politics. Actually, Pakistan used them, Pakistani intelligence agencies used them for carrying the weapons from POK to IOK. And also use their horses as the safe horses, and some of the militants, they stay in their houses, not voluntarily but forcibly, and if any family member who protests against their attitude, militant attitudes, ultimately he become the target. So those people who refuse to cooperate further or guide the people, guide the militants and lead them to other part, they are mostly the people are missing, who actually denied to cooperate them. And in the border areas, many people who protest actually or resist the military attitude to enter in their houses and abuse the women. Whenever they protest or they resist it, ultimately the men are kidnapped and put them in a detention center and propagate them. Oh, he was a raw agent. He was actually providing informations to the India. So this kind of politics, this kind of propaganda, where the victims cannot see public help because government have lot of resources to propagate the things, and ultimately that person is isolated. But we are very much watching them, and we also every session raise the human rights questions in United Nations Human Rights Council session, whether it is in March, whether it is in June, whether it is in September, and sometimes we also seek meetings with the different foreign office headquarters and also the European parliamentarians. So we are working on that. Partly you are right that the political organizations, actually there are many people who are saying blah 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 blah, but they are not actually raising the genuine questions, whether they called so-called nationalists. All the nationalists, many nationalist political parties, they are actually in the guise of nationalism, they are also serving the interest of the Pakistani intelligence agencies. That's why one of the organizations, Tanveer Ahmad, he is facing severe charges which was framed by the government of Pakistan, and he is in the jail. But one organization said, oh, we will not take part in any processions because some of the people, pro-Indian people, actually protesting for his safe release. That's why we are not a political party. Always, if he or she is committed with the human rights, irrespective it is India, it is United States, it is Israel, anybody who is raising the question in favor of the detainees, a genuine political party always welcomes those demands. But when a political party escapes from the demand just because that, oh, his political opponent also demand for his safe release, and it is a lame excuse, it is serving for some agency. So, you know, all the political parties installed by the government of Pakistan and Pakistani establishment, whether it is Noon League, whether it is People's Party, whether it is PTI, they are installed by the Pakistani agencies, not the political leader of Pakistan.
Sir,
So that political parties are political leaders, they are always serving GOC money.
آپ نے مطالبہ کیا ہے تنویر راجہ صاحب کو رہائی کے بارے میں. تو تنویر راجہ صاحب نے جو جھنڈا اتارا تھا اور جو جھنڈا دوبارہ لگا رہے تھے, وہ جو جھنڈا لگانا چاہتے تھے یا لگایا تھا, وہ بھی تو انہی کا اطاع کیا ہوا تھا.
We are not in position because he at that chowk was called the Makbul Bhatt Chowk. Makbul Bhatt Chowk. And Tanveer Ahmad has some sympathies with the JKLF for the Makbul Bhatt. He considered that he is the leader. So it was, that chowk was constructed by the public, not by the government. That was not the government building.
جی.
So when the government of Pakistan or their agencies put that flag, Pakistani flags on that chowk, he dared to remove that.
جی.
And Pakistan and the agencies and the police arrest him and leave him. I explained. So we are not discussing about the ideology of a person. He is a peaceful political activist. He did not take part any kind of militancy. So he has to right to release. He belongs to my party or not, that is not the question for me. As a human rights defender, I support all those detainees who was in the jail and facing worst kind of persecution. They have the right to release.
Thank you, sir.
And it is granted them. Hello, Yunus.
Yes.
Okay.
Before
Ready for photo?
Alim Saab.
video,
You.
before I start the conversation, I go to speak French, but before I start my question, I want to know if somebody can translate for French, or I go to speak. No. So I congratulate you for wonderful work you do since today, I think 10 years ago, when I know you. I go to speak French.
Okay.
Bon, mesdames, messieurs, je voudrais tout d'abord adresser mes vives félicitations à Sadat et Kashmir People Nation, qui est donc son parti politique. Et son combat de chaque jour ne cesse de s'accroître. Je voudrais vous dire que je suis très touchée. C'est très grave ce que le Pakistan fait par rapport à la violation des droits humains des femmes. Et je viens de vous suivre les abus qui sont constamment faits envers les femmes au Cachemire, encouragés par le Pakistan. Je voudrais donc, avant de vous dire que je suis très touchée, mon organisation Caucapos International est très touchée par cette façon de violer les droits humains des femmes, en particulier, et en général les droits humains. Mais ma question est de savoir, malgré votre combat, est-ce que les deux, ils ont envisagé les deux parties, c'est-à-dire l'Inde et puis le Pakistan, de s'entendre afin que Cachemire, qui n'était qu'un royaume, puisse avoir son indépendance. Les deux, en tant qu'organisation non gouvernementale internationale auprès des Nations Unies, nous sollicitons obtenir des documents, des preuves de cette violation des droits des femmes, des abus faits aux femmes, afin maintenant de défendre ces femmes auprès des Nations Unies. Est-ce que vous pourriez nous fournir ces documents pour que nous puissions faire ce qui nous revient, notre travail, s'il vous plaît, parce que c'est très très grave. C'est très grave ce que le Pakistan fait. Je vous remercie.
First, I would, before end, I would agree. Initially, I must be introduced my colleague, but I was due to the constraint of time and late and little bit technical problems. So I was in a hurry. So in my right side is Nasir Aziz Khan. He is a spokesperson of United Kashmir People's National Party and a renowned human rights defender. And on my left side, he is Manir Mengal. He is chairperson of Blue Twice, and he also very extensively work on disappearances and also the rights of the poor people and other part which is in the periphery of Pakistan. So, I must say both of my my friends, their cooperation and every time UKPNP have privilege to take their experiences. And now I would ask Manir Mengal to translate Madam Princess MacLean. She is chairperson of the UPOS, and also our friends Mr. Darren. He is also a renowned human rights defender and working since many years inside the United Nations Human Rights Council and representative of many NGOs. So I welcome you, and also I'm very much thankful to Dr. Ali Akbar Sahib and the friends Jonas Saab from the Aaj TV. So please translate his work. Tracks of his
Actually, first of all, she thanked UKPNP and Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri for organizing such a conference in these hard conditions. And she said that whatever you said, particularly about human rights issues, that touched my heart deeply. So I and my organization is in solidarity with you on the issues of human rights. Secondly, she raised actually two questions about the status of human rights over in POK. What is the current situation, particularly of the females? How they are surviving under such occupation conditions? And secondly, she said with respect to this, and particularly with respect to females' rights, and particularly those who are female defenders of human rights, is there any document, any evidence? Give us some documentation, because I, as a representative of an ONG, we want to submit these things to the United Nations.
Thank you very much, Madam Francis. We will provide you all the documents, especially the human rights situation of the women, and especially what kind of hardship they are facing, and the intention people, how they will use them, and they use them, and ultimately police is unable to provide any kind of justice. We will provide you all the documents, and we are very much thankful to you if you raise all those questions which are belonging to our women in the areas which is very deprived. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think is any questions? For you want to say something? One thing that
First of all, I would like to thank you, Madam, our brother Darren, Alim Saab, Yunus Bhai, Ali Akbar Saab, Mengal Saab, for your participation and contribution in this press conference. I just raised one issue. Our comrade, our friend Jamil Masood, who has been working with UNHCR and participating since 2010, almost 1 decade. He was continuously coming in every session, and he was speaking on behalf of different accredited NGOs about human rights violations in Pakistani occupied Kashmir. And now he is facing restrictions by Pakistan. Pakistan doesn't want to give or renew his passport, and he is unable to travel. He is based in Belgium, but Pakistan is not giving him the passport, renewing his passport. They block his passport that he is anti-state and his activities are not in good books of Pakistan. Freedom of movement is the right of every person as declared in the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, and he has the right to have travel document, passport. And through this press conference, we demand that Pakistan must provide him passport, and such tactics cannot stop our struggle. He is a peaceful activist. He never ever involved in any kind of violations or extremist actions against any state. So this is the policy of Pakistan to silence or blackmail them or ban them to travel and restrict them to stop their vices, and I request all of you to take this issue as well whenever you submit your document to UN. Please, I will provide you these details and you can write them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, UKPNP. Thank you, Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri, for organizing such a conference in these hard days, in these tough times where it's very hard for people to cross borders, to come and to get together. As this press conference is being organized as a sideline press conference at the occasion of the 46th United Nations Human Rights Council session, I, as a principal representative of a UN ECOSOC organization, as an observer, we have observed, and today I am sitting as an observer of this event, and we have also witnessed the cases and taken information back from POK. So these are the questions which UN and her bodies are particularly responsible. They have a mandate with respect to particularly to those states which are her member organizations. Pakistan is a member state of UN. Pakistan is a member state of many treaty bodies. So UN and her bodies are responsible to take account of all such sort of abuse of human rights, particularly with respect to missing persons issue, with respect to freedom of expression, with respect to the looting of resources, and the way the state that is has kept the people under subjugation and treating them as colony. So these are grave concerns. These are grave concerns for us as human beings. These are grave concerns for the people. They are suffering over there, and we, in solidarity, we give our, you can say, all sort of support, strength, whatever we can do in this regard to raise the voice of the Kashmiri people, to raise the issues of the Kashmiri people in the UN and her bodies. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, may I conclude the press conference, and time is over. Thank you very much for your participation. And the other room, you have the coffee, and I just gave him 2 minutes, and I will also project.
Thank you.
अब सारा का ग्रुप शूट हो जाए
हाँ सर एक नाइट होता नहीं
ये अच्छा होगा
Dale, madam.
Please, one photo.
सिद्धू प्ले फोटो देखो सिद्धू प्ले जा रहा मैं इसको बंद कर
बंद कर। हाँ, इसको
पास हो गया
ये भी चल रहा है.
नहीं ठीक है ओके
Thank you.
Thank you.
ठीक है, हाँ? ठीक है। जब कुछ अपना काम कर
जब मैं भी जब दोनों देखो
ये
तो
मुबारक हो।
स्टॉप कीजिए
से
अच्छा हो गया
ऊपर वाले अभी तक मुझे नहीं लगा है